Welcome, friends. This is Richard Wolff from Democracy at Work, responding to another Ask Prof. Wolff question from our Patreon community. And this question comes from Marcus Allen. Marcus asks about dollars, the petrodollar, the role of dollars in the world economy, and the big question on the world's mind these days: is the Chinese yuan going to overtake the dollar in the world economy, its role? And if so, when and how and with what consequences might this happen? So let me begin just with a couple of definitions so we're all on the same page. The petrodollar is named that way because for many, many years now, the global trade in oil is undertaken with dollars. Country A buys oil from country B and usually pays for it in dollars. It was a sign that all of the important trade in oil, that literally is what energizes many economies around the world, to be reliable, to be sure that when you got paid, you could rely on the payment. What people who sold oil wanted and what people who bought oil had to do was provide a globally reliable currency. And the dollar was that. Coming out of World War II, the dominance of the American economy in the world system was overwhelming. The only potential competitors, Britain, Germany, Russia, Japan, had all been decimated by World War II. They literally destroyed each other, leaving the United States, on whose soil no war was fought, excepting Pearl Harbor, in a position of total dominance. And the dollar, which had been moving in that direction, became officially the world's number one currency. And this has had and continues to have enormous benefits for the American economy. Here's a way to understand that. If foreigners hold dollars because they're going to be buying something tomorrow or next week or next month, and dollars is the way you pay for it, oil or many other things, then we have a peculiar arrangement. The United States sends dollars abroad, little green pieces of paper that you're all familiar with that cost virtually nothing to make, in order to buy wine from France, rubber from Malaysia, you name it. We get really wealthy as a nation, and we only have to give pieces of cheap paper in exchange. If people hold dollars, this is an enormous subsidy to the United States. Likewise, if banks around the world and countries around the world hold dollars as reserves to show that they're in good shape, it's one thing to have the currency of your own country. That depends on how strong the economy of your country is. It's another thing to have reserves in dollars, which everybody respected. And that means banks hold dollar denominations. Banks also and countries will take the dollars and hold on to them but they want to earn something, because if you hold a dollar, you don't earn anything. So what they do is they lend it to the United States government. They pick up the interest that the government pays. They still have assets in dollars because it's a U.S. government debt. And that, of course, provides an enormous help to the American government because it can do all kinds of things with money it borrows, not from its own citizens, but from banks, governments, citizens abroad. Many of the wars of the United States have been financed by loans from other countries. The rise of China is absolutely crucial now. It is the second economy in the world. It's roughly 2/3 the size of the United States economy and gaining fast. It has been growing faster than the United States for the last 25 years, 2 to 3 times faster every year. That's why it is as big as it is now, and that's why most predictions have it be a bigger economy at the end of this decade than the United States. And what that means is that all over the world, Citizens who are planning to do all kinds of growth and expansion and trade now need to have yuan in their wallets, yuan in their bank accounts, because more and more countries are saying we want to be paid in that currency because we do more business with China than we do with the United States. And therefore, at the very least, we want to reduce the old use of the dollar, which was virtually total, and now maybe $50 they're adjusting. Banks are doing the same with their reserves. Countries are doing the same with what the reserve is to back up their currency. People will have confidence in their currency, not now only because they also have dollars, but because they also have yuan. And with the prospect of the yuan becoming a bigger factor, connected to the biggest economy in the world within a few years, the pressure is on. No one knows how fast it will go. It will diminish the subsidy we get as a nation. It will squeeze American capitalism. It will be a boon to the Chinese capitalism in just the ways the dollar supremacy was for the United States. And one important point: the sanctions imposed on Russia are speeding up the importance of the yuan because the Russians, with their alliance on the Chinese, are doing more and more trade with the yuan because they are shut out of the United States. In an ironic twist, American sanctions are undermining the future of the American economy in this, among other ways. Be careful about your own investments, for those of you who have any, because the dollar isn't what it was, and it's part of the relative decline of the American capitalist system relative to where capitalism has moved its dynamic growth center, and that is to the east. If discussions like this are of interest, please know that we at Democracy at Work want you to please partner with us. Share this video with friends, relatives, neighbors, co-workers. That's a way to extend our reach, to get more people to understand and think about the great issues of our time that you in our Patreon community bring to us to work on. It's a way of our working together that we need and that completes our project. And of course, if along the way you can also provide us with some financial support, our website, democracyatwork.info, will tell you all about how to do that. Thank you.